Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming back to another episode of the Your Gray Matters podcast. I'm Jason here with my dad, Neil. Hey, Dad.
Hey, hi everybody.
So, really interesting episode this week, all about learning how to plan for the future for a time that all of us may need. Might not even be that too far in the future for some people, and it can come up without notice. So,
Yep.
this is really something to be aware of, I think. What have we got in store?
So our program today is about a product called MyDignity. And simply ask yourself a question. If someone you know or love had an emergency and they had to go into long-term care or they needed to have full-time help at their home, what would you do? Do you want to be a planner for this? Or do you want to be a manager where you're trying to manage an emergency? The family doesn't have the time to help someone who really needs the help. The money's short. The special services are a problem. Long-term care may or may not be available. Watch this program. You will see how to put this completely into planning, and your life can be a lot easier. We love it.
So let us know in the comments what you thought. Remember to like and subscribe, and yeah, really enjoy the episode.
Thanks, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Your Gray Matters podcast. We're excited to have you here today. And as you know, on our podcast, we have a history of bringing ideas, solutions that already exist, but you may not be aware of them. I believe, and I've always believed, that the human mind cannot be defeated. That's the basis of Your Gray Matters. And again, today, we have something for you that we believe is astronomical. I had the privilege of meeting these two folks, and I learned about a great product. And I want you to think about some of these interesting numbers, everybody. So, what's the chances of you losing your home to a fire? Would you believe about less than 1% of the population, 1 in 1,200? How about having a car accident? It says here 1 in 240. Again, less than 1% of our population, but get this. Needing assistance when you can no longer care for yourself. Well, over 70% of individuals 65 and older will require some degree of care. Hey, I just turned 70, and a lot of you either are over 70, under 70, have parents who are over 70 or under 70. You get the point. This can affect all of us. You know what? What assistance is available? Let's talk about that for a minute. So when someone needs help with their long-term care, can they rely on the government? Do you want them to rely on you, their loved ones? But what happens if you don't have anything in place? Today, we're going to talk about how this great product called MyDignity can really have an incredible impact on your lives and the lives of your loved ones. Everybody, I want you to meet these two great people that you're looking at. They created this product called MyDignity. We have Miles Posner, we have Cynthia Schindler. I'll let you figure out which one is which. And with that, I want to tell you that a few weeks ago, I had the pleasure of hearing Miles deliver a talk on this product. And I thought right away, this is something that the Your Gray Matters podcast listeners are going to want to hear. Miles Posner, he's a man who's been in the insurance business for a long time. He is well respected. He's well known for his knowledge, his integrity, but he saw an opportunity. He saw something missing in the life insurance industry, and he started to create this product called MyDignity. And we have also Cynthia Schindler. Cynthia is very involved in the product. She is involved in advertising and public relations. But what drew me to her is that she has 10 years of practice as a behavioral geriatric specialist. And if you remember, a few months ago, we actually had a geriatric psychiatrist, Dr. Robin Waxman, on the show talking about the needs of the elderly. I believe that these two folks have brought together an amazing, amazing product. Miles, Cynthia, welcome to Your Gray Matters. Thanks for tuning in today, for being on the show today.
Well, thank
Thank
you
you
for
for inviting
having
me.
us.
We're really excited to hear about MyDignity. You know, I opened up my online newspaper this morning and I was met with the following headline out of Hamilton, Ontario. Said, what terrible option would you choose? Family fears lengthy wait for long-term care will leave 93-year-old Hamilton farmer in an unsafe situation. This woman is being pushed out of a health facility with limited options for how she will be cared for as she waits for long-term care. To me, that's an important problem, and it's lead-off news in Hamilton today. Miles and Cynthia, how about telling us about MyDignity? Why did you think of this? Why did you create this? And why is it so important? And I'm going to let the two of you battle for who wants to answer.
Women first, Cynthia. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. I'm very pleased to share with you that the MyDignity platform, which is really just a healthcare strategy that all Canadians need to have, because without a plan, people make the worst decisions at the worst time. And in a down market in particular, that's very dangerous. So what MyDignity is all about is empowering people to have their care their way, and ideally in their own home, because that's where people want to be cared for. People do not want to be forced to go into a long-term care facility. They want to remain in the comfort and familiarity of their own home. And that's what the focus of MyDignity is all about. It's about empowering people to make these decisions before things turn the other way. Allow your family to be a care manager rather than a caregiver. People many times don't take the bull by the horns and deal with the issues before they arise. And then we have a serious problem. We need to walk through the door when the door is open and make that plan. Be kind to your loved ones. Make sure that you have a healthcare strategy. And that's what MyDignity is. Miles, if you'd like to continue to expand a little bit more
Well,
on the direction.
I want to address that lady that's 93.
Yes.
Unfortunately, okay, she's a little too old, but if the MyDignity plan would have been presented to her when she was around 81, just under 81, she could have kept it and used it for the later years. So right now, I mean, I do empathize with that situation, okay, because I mean, what are you going to do? Okay. And what are the people that are supposed to be caring for this older lady going to do if she can't go into a facility? Not that she wants to, but sometimes people have to go there. Okay.
Yes.
These people have their own lives and their own responsibilities. And now, okay, they're catapulted into a situation where they're not trained per se. Okay. And not only will this affect the 93-year-old lady, okay, it's going to affect the people that are caring for her.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Cynthia, you said care planner versus care manager. Is that what you said?
Right. So what we are trying to educate Canadians about is the importance of having a healthcare strategy like the MyDignity Home Care Assistance Plan, because when somebody needs help due to the fact that maybe something physical has changed or something cognitive has changed, then they have a plan that they can rely on, a strategy that will provide financial resources, benefits, services, and supplies, giving the family direction. So anybody that does walk through the door and acquire the MyDignity Home Care Assistance Plan, as we all should, then allows people to let their family know that they have this kind of plan in place. They can reach out to the MyDignity offices for direction in terms of how do we make a claim? How do we start using these benefits? How do they work? How do we pay for it? How do we get reimbursed for it? How does it work? So we're sort of old-fashioned from the point of view that we like to take people by the hand and help them through the claims process. And I'm very proud to say that probably one of our biggest complaints with respect to the home care planning policies is that people wish they could have bought more. We're very fortunate to be able to offer what we have on a non-medical basis. So if people can answer a health declaration genuinely favorably, it's going to be an automatic approval. There's no such thing as this will be excluded or you have to pay more because of this situation. It's either yes, you can get it, or no, you can't.
So if I may add,
Yes.
okay, the MyDignity Plan is an insurance plan, okay?
Yes.
If that situation wasn't totally understood, but it's very affordable and very easy to get. In the past, there were some great long-term care plans offered with the different carriers in Canada, okay, copying some of the features and policies from the United States. They were great plans, but the insurance industry, unfortunately, sometimes falls prey to themselves. They shoot themselves in the foot. The underwriting was horrific. Okay. The costing was out of sight. So really, the insurance companies weren't all that successful because 50% of the people that applied were turned down for various reasons. And when I say the underwriting was terrible, I mean, I'll give you an example. There was this lady in her mid-60s, and she wore her Lululemons, and she could do handstands and do push-ups, okay? But she had, well, I wouldn't call it an affliction. She had tennis elbow. Okay, she loved to play tennis and develop tennis elbow. Well, she was very impressed with wanting to have a long-term care policy with one of these older carriers. They kept postponing her because she was going for physiotherapy for her tennis elbow. If she would have stopped playing tennis, her elbow would have healed. But she elected not to. So in the end, after about a year and a half, she gave up. That's when MyDignity policy came around and she readily accepted it. But I can tell you, what kind of underwriting is that? What does that have to do with needing care, a tennis elbow? Okay, she's not physically dependent and she's not cognitively dependent. That's all I will say. So we saw there was an opportunity, okay, based on a situation like that. And we developed a plan where there's no medical, just a simple, creative health questionnaire that really allows people to take hold of the plan. Okay, we allow for people that have heart conditions and cancer and diabetes. I mean, it's simple. We have a 95+% approval rate, not a 50%.
Wow.
So this
Wow.
idea replaced the old regime, and it's really taken off thanks to our, I guess, our hard work and dedication and connections all through the industry.
I wanted to maybe dispel some misunderstandings. I've spoken to people in general about what you're offering. And of course, you always get the same questions. Gee, doesn't the government take care of it? Well, I have a group benefits plan. Well, I have life insurance. I have home insurance. I mean, this is something completely different from all of that, but can you help people to understand how this differs from government opportunities to help the elderly or people who need this program, or perhaps their group benefits? Just wondering if you could comment.
Sure, we recognize that people have all kinds of living benefits: disability insurance, which is paycheck protection; critical illness insurance, which is a payout when someone gets ill; other extended health care benefits that cover prescription drugs, dental, and so on. None of these plans can work the way the MyDignity Home Care Assistance Plan does because they have gaps. With disability insurance, you have to be unable to do your job. With critical illness, it's based on a diagnosis. Extended health care plan doesn't cover the expensive things that home care requires, like personal support workers,
Right.
like meals from your favorite restaurant, like transportation needs, home conversion needs. When things change for people and they need assistance, many times things have to be dealt with in the home to make it a safer environment so that people can live there longer. These are the kinds of benefits and services that the MyDignity Home Care Plan provides from day one, which is why people see such true value in the plan, because they're available immediately. Because when you need care, you need it now.
Oh,
There's right.
Yes.
That's what you need, and you need to have a plan.
And if I may add, government assistance, if we can call it assistance, okay, is limited at best. They have budgets, okay, and it's like being in the army if you require care. Not that you won't get it. You might get it one day. It might be declined the next day because somebody down the street, in their opinion, needs more care. It might be reduced. And you're at the whim of their direction of to when somebody comes, who comes, and what services they give. Because basically, government, the mandate for people that work with the government is really to get you up, get you bathed, get you dressed, and they get out of there. Okay.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, boy.
really no provision, okay, for what is known as activities of daily living, instrumental ones, like housekeeping duties, food shopping, food preparation. So in essence, our plan gives the control back to the individual. Okay, they're the consumer, and they can pick and choose the type of services and the type of situations that they're in and direct the people because they're paying for a policy. They're a consumer. And it's not that expensive, just so you know.
Yeah, that caught my eye too, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute. I can relate to what you're saying so clearly. There's enough statistics out there to show that as we get older and grow perhaps more infirm or unable to take care of ourselves, the will to live in our homes are very strong. Most seniors want to die in their homes, so to speak. And it's hard to work yourself into another place emotionally, but of course, worse if you don't have the money for the services. I'm personally going through a situation right now with two family members, both of whom have had long stays in hospitals from some bad falls. They are elderly, and it has been a rough routine to get them healed, get them back into their homes. My one family member went through 3 different facilities before she could get home. The other one went through 2 of them, moved into the last one, but the first one hadn't filed the proper report. And the day that she moved into her new place, she fell. She's not supposed to fall. Ended up back in the hospital. Now the family's preparing for her to come home. She's too old to buy the service, but if it had been paid for years ago, it would have really made a difference because, of course, the whole medical system is finding it very hard to service the community. And I think what you're providing is a very necessary and wonderful way for people to get the help that they need. Sometimes people don't even realize that they need it, but I can tell you once they have it, from my experience with these two folks, they love it.
Well, I can also add to that, Neil, is that the situation is that we found that we're the only viable plan out there. Okay, so because as I mentioned, there were other carriers in the past, but they exited the market. And we've been around for about 15 years. I know we've kept it pretty close to the chest because we've maintained the integrity of the plan so it continues to be viable with our insurance partners. In fact, I mean, not that I want to tip my hat, we were approached by the Ontario Medical Association.
Wow.
They got wind of our plan, and they came to us. And currently, we're on their platform, and it's being introduced to, I believe there's 47,000 plus doctors. So the question is, if the doctors can recognize something as important and viable as this, it really now should be something that's commonplace among our average Canadian.
Yes, yes. I can tell you too that it's not just, in my opinion, for the patient or for the person who requires your services. Family members are running around trying to manage their schedules. Maybe they're still working. Maybe they're trying to go on a holiday. Maybe they have other kids at home. This really can make a huge difference for the family and friends or friends of those who need these services. And that's why I thought that this is so helpful, because the sandwich generation is running back and forth trying to help their older family members, but the helpers sometimes are getting older too. Would you agree with that, that this can help everybody?
For sure. I mean, it's necessary to have a plan by design, one that you're in control of, rather than a plan by default, because that's what will happen when there is no plan in place. So, and I agree 100% with what you said. It's not just about the person needing care. It's about the entire community and loved ones all around that individual. Everyone is infected. In fact, the plan actually offers psychological support for those informal caregivers, because caregiving is, without a doubt, one of the most difficult tasks anyone can be faced with, especially when they don't have the knowledge and education and training on how to be a caregiver, and then being thrown into that role unexpectedly with all your other responsibilities and other pressures in life. It's just simply a path to destruction. Relationships get destroyed. There's no need to be in that position. The only way to avoid that is to have a plan in place before the inevitable happens. And this isn't just about the journey of us going down the path, getting older. Anything can happen to anyone at any time. Okay, living is dangerous to our health. We might have an injury, we might sustain a fracture, we might have a surgical procedure. And when you go into hospital, their mandate is to get you in and get you out as quickly as possible.
Oh, it's
So
brutal.
it's horrible. It's horrible. Recently, we had one of our clients who lives in a remote area of BC. She took a fall and she broke both of her arms. So naturally, she went by ambulance to the hospital. They casted her up, slinged her up, and sent her back home. And then she realized when she got home, I can't manage both. I can't use either of my arms. So she was able to call our offices, and within a couple of hours on a Friday night, start of a weekend, at the end of the day, we were able, with contacts that we've made over the years, because people appreciate what we're doing, that we're trying to deal with the gaps in the healthcare system. But within a couple of hours, we had not one, but two personal support workers for her to align herself with the person that she felt most comfortable with, that could serve her needs. I think that's something.
It is phenomenal. And by the way, one of the people I'm talking about in my family fell in December and she broke both legs. And it has been rough on her terribly, but on all of us. We're going to buy a wheelchair now. She might be able to come home or to another facility. Everything that you're talking about makes total sense. I'm curious, when should people buy this stuff?
My advice would be walk through the door when the door is open. Okay, it's a simple health declaration. You'll know immediately if you can qualify. And if you can qualify, walk through that door when the door is open, because things can readily change for people. Having been a practitioner for so many years, there's a reason I love that. And I'm dedicated to being an educator to the nation, along with Miles, about what has to be done. Okay, we are facing a broken system, and the onus and responsibility is on ourselves to make sure that we're not a burden to others, and that we have dignified care when we need it, short term or long term.
do you help people once they need the services, they paid for it, they're triggering their dignity plan? Do you help them find the professionals, the PSWs, the other services that are needed, or do you help guide them as to where to go? I'm just curious about that.
The flexibility to choose someone to care for you that's certified is completely up to the insured or the power of attorney for the insured. But we are there, and over the years we've made a lot of phenomenal connections. And when people phone into our offices to advise that there is a claim imminent, you know, we will provide guidance to the family if they would like it, if they're struggling. There's lots of care providers out there,
Yes,
okay? And so there's lots of choices and there's lots of flexibility, but still sometimes people like a little bit of direction, like that support. And that's what it's all about. You know, not only do we just offer something, we walk our talk. We take pride in that.
that's that is fantastic, because I have to say that all of us in my family have been walking through the forest of not quite knowing where to go. Thank God lots of us had doctors as children, so that gave us one leg up, but not everybody has that. I'm really also taken aback. I saw, not that we have to go into pricing, but I have to say to everybody, I looked at the cost of this program, and this program's not going to break anybody's wallet, but it can save your wallet, your life, your bank account. I just want to make that comment that really you're not talking about something that's astronomically expensive at all. And I found that to be just wonderful. But I
Well,
guess go ahead, Miles.
sorry, if I may add, besides having very attractive rates, the plan has tax advantages.
Okay.
Okay, the way it was designed is that if an individual is, let's say, retired, not working, etc., the premiums can be used as an expense towards their medical tax credit.
Hmm.
Now, a lot of people, okay, especially 50 plus, okay, continue to work. They have companies, corporations, what have you. Knowing that, because of the design of the plan, the premiums can be paid for by the company and expensed out, while any benefit received is non-taxable. So the company can pay for it on an individual's behalf, and even, in the company, it could be the owner. It also includes his spouse, because that's part of the planning with the government, okay, under this, what it's known as a PHSP. So besides having attractive rates, there's tax advantages, which is really, the pièce de résistance, as I like to call it.
Absolutely. This is actually huge. And thank you for telling us this, because my listeners know that I'm in the mortgage business. I do real estate investing, and there are tax advantaged investments. There are things that people can do to make their investments better. But I didn't know about that with the insurance with this program. So, ladies and gentlemen, if for no other reason you should be calling Miles or Cynthia, that's a great reason to find out tax-wise what you can do to benefit your own health. I am aware, and I'm going to raise this with you. The qualification is easy. It's a simple questionnaire. It's terrific. But there are times where people may not qualify because just something that doesn't qualify. But that in no way suggests that their spouse shouldn't qualify or get the service anywhere. Perhaps talk a bit about what happens. I think it's going to be rare, but for those who can't qualify, what do you say to that? What should they do?
Well, I can add to that. Basically, the person that can't qualify suggests that that person will need care first,
Right.
okay, because their situation is more vulnerable, which means the household assets, okay, will be used towards the care, which leaves the balance, okay, depending on what the balance is, in jeopardy. So if that spouse has that MyDignity plan, okay, it adds to the comfort and security that there'll be more money, okay, for when their time comes that they might need care.
So this is a brilliant answer that I would not have thought of. So thank you. So what it does is, if the person who can't get care gets ill, they may chew up a lot of the house's finances. And then the spouse now comes to need, but he or she has the program, and that's going to have like a double positive impact, because it's not only going to help them, but the household could be saved because of this plan. This is so important. This is so brilliant. I really thank you for that. I wanted to ask you as we start to wrap this up, and folks, I really want to encourage you to give deep thought to this. I'm going to ask Cynthia or Miles now, can you tell us how best to get a hold of you? Let's talk about your website address, any phone numbers. We're going to post this as always, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, when you go onto their website, you'll see a great video. It's a short video, but it gives you a great overview. I really want to encourage you to take this very seriously. Miles, Cynthia, how best to reach you? What should people do?
You're welcome to send us an email via our website, which is mydignity.ca, or you can just email us directly, Cynthia@mydignity.ca, or Miles, as in kilometers, MILES, at mydignity.ca. You can phone in on our 1-800 number. It's 1-866-483-4778, and there will be somebody there to greet you and offer guidance and assistance.
And if I may add, okay, in closing, we have developed an online quotation application system. So you can quote it and continue on and have the application. There's no need for a face-to-face, even though we welcome it, and we do a lot of that. So we make it easy on the individual, okay? There's digital signatures, so people can take advantage of it with the least bit of effort.
User-friendly, easy to understand, wonderful people to deal with if you have to. Ladies and gentlemen, you may not even want to go onto the internet. Maybe it's not your thing. But if you have children, they probably know how to manage this for you. They're going to want to know that you're taking a look at this. Miles and Cynthia, I just count myself lucky to have met the two of you. I thank you for the program. We're going through the website right now ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, reach out to Miles and Cynthia. We, of course, will post these contact ways for you. And all I can say is plan the future now so that you don't have to figure it out when you really need the help. Miles, Cynthia, bless your hearts. Thanks so much for being on the Your Gray Matters podcast.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Hey, everybody, have a great week. We'll be back next Monday, as we always are. And here's a hint. A 91-year-old woman's coming on, talk about her adventure in the healthcare system, and you're going to want to hear this. Hey, everybody, thanks very much for watching today. We appreciate it. Please subscribe to our podcast. It really helps us grow, and it makes us stronger, and we appreciate you doing it.